And so you have such a strong polarization of Kamala's campaign, the kind of podcast she goes on. She's not gone on yours yet, but she's gone on, Call Her Daddy, which is, I didn't know what that was.
I didn't know what that is. I keep seeing that. What is that?
I don't know, but when I saw that name, I just didn't want to see it because I knew that would make me misogynistic.
Is it like the imperative, like call her daddy? You're asking someone call her daddy, or you like?
But why would you call her daddy? It makes no sense.
But are we calling her as in like you will be called daddy now, or are we saying we're going to call your father? We'll actually call your father now. We're going to call your father.
I don't think it's that.
Okay.
I definitely don't think it has anything to do with your actual biological father. I think it has something to do with calling daddy as in colloquial term for an older man that you're dating.
Yeah, but you call her that.
I know, that's why it's gender bending. I don't understand. But
this is going to be clipped by people on that side about what idiots we are. We're so out of touch.
I know. But it makes you remember the name though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? No. Why are we doing free promotion for them? But no, fair enough. She's gone on that. I know that a big thing was made of that, and I suppose it's sort of feminine, touchy-feely, but also sex. Lots of sex.
Yeah. It's like a sex thing. It's very. It's quite. It gets down and dirty, and usually she interviews celebrities, but she's got a very big platform, and I think one of the top performing podcasts on Spotify, and she goes on Oprah. On the other one I saw was Drew Barrymore, which. In that episode, she kind of christened her with this name. You are Mamala. You remember this word? Oh, gosh.
Oh, cringe.
Cringe, so
I
cringe.
think all of my American news actually comes through your Twitter. So I think I saw that through you. And gosh, Drew Barrymore is, I mean, I don't call people cringe very often, but she's quite cringe.
But that word, coining the term Mamala is just, yeah. And so you see her campaign where she's going on all these female-centric podcasts, kind of avoiding more antagonistic media, although she did do one recently. She did the Fox News one. But Trump, on the other hand, has done a tour of the Manosphere podcasts. He's gone on Logan Paul. He's gone on, I think that she's in talks to do Joe Rogan, but he's done all the comedians, right? Lex Friedman, he's done Andrew Schultz. Theo Vaughn apparently was a really good one. And if you think about who's also in his camp, he's got Elon Musk in his camp. So he on one side, you got comedians and, rockets, just the symbolism, right? And the fitness guys are all into him. And he's kind of the face, in a way, of UFC because he's always going to these fights. And it just seems like a caricature of manhood on one side. And on Kamala's side, it's all just feelings and celebrity endorsements and Taylor Swift coming out and recently Billie Eilish endorsing her. So she's got entertainment and that whole crowd standing for her. But all of this is very symbolic. On the outside, it looks like caricatures of what both we expect femininity to look like and what masculinity looks like. But underlying that is a real divergence in the political identification of Gen Z boys and Gen Z girls. And we're talking like this is like 18 to 30 years old. And it's riding on something quite real. And you can see Kamala's campaign desperately trying to appeal to reach across the aisle, to appeal to men. And so she's kind of made some weird calls, like ads that are so awkward. I don't know if you saw that.
Again, through you, I think.
I don't know if I posted it, but
maybe it might have been someone else. Then there's one or two. Then so it's not just you. There's one or two I follow who I get the American stuff, but it was that it was all these men like I'm a man and they're sort of cowboys and things, but were being deliberately over the top feminine or weird versions of like AI had tried to invent what a man was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But what stood out to you about those ads?
What stood out to me? Well,
you weren't convinced, or
well, no, they were utterly unconvincing. Yeah.
Okay. So, but can you pinpoint what made it unconvincing?
I don't know. Is there something? What am I missing? What was it?
Well, I have a meta theory, but the subtle things would be things like, and actually when Winston tweeted this, he said men who are real men actually don't feel the need to say that they're not afraid of women. It's a weird thing to say, and I'm not afraid of women. So they're the way they're characterizing masculinity, and then it's kind of you have men kind of working on the truck, the guy with the cowboy hat, the guy sitting there in an awkward pose that's quite feminine, but they're all talking about very stereotypical male things. So it's very performative. But there's something about it that's almost like an uncanny valley where you're like, don't quite know what it is. But then later on when they go on and say, I'm not afraid of women, right? This is actually building upon previous media pieces about, say, Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, that real men support women. Real men are willing to play this support role, second fiddle, to support their powerful wives. And in fact, Tim Walz himself as a VP has kind of emerged as that kind of avatar. He comes out as the support character. He's, Kamala's main character. I'm the support guy. And he lets her talk, and the media kind of writes these think pieces about the Dems kind of redefining masculinity. And that ad is probably what kind of crystallizes exactly what this feeling is. I don't know if you remember, but there was a book. You could find it maybe like years ago in Urban Outfitters or something. But it was like kind of tongue-in-cheek. It was a funny book. It was called Porn for Women. And in that book, it was like a coffee table book. When you flipped it open, none of it was not safe for work. All of it was just pictures of clothed men, tall, bit hunky, but doing things like hoovering the carpet or baking a pie. They're in the kitchen. And the idea of that is that porn was created for liberal women. So this ad was the liberal woman's conception of masculinity. It wasn't real masculinity in any way. And, don't get me wrong, I think the right has a caricatured version of that too. If you look at the podcasters like Andrew Tate, they are also doing a kind of masculinity or performing a kind of masculinity that's kind of out there, ridiculous, and it's kind of coming on both sides. And so men increasingly have not that many spaces left to be able to ask these questions. What does it mean to be a man? How can I be a better man? And so they turn to this right-wing manosphere. And some of it can be pretty extreme, some of it pretty goofy, like the pickup artist stuff. But some of it is like and self-empowerment. The Joe Rogans of the world, Andrew Hubermans, you probably, one of them, Jordan Peterson, where there are people at least even discussing this issue or even pointing out something is wrong because men are not doing well in society as a whole, right? If there's any, the left cares a lot about marginalization and oppression. But across the board, if you look, like young men are just underperforming in terms of education, in terms of healthcare. They die earlier. They die from, like suicide or drug overdoses. And I think in terms of degrees, women are out earning men at the bachelor level, master's level, and PhD. So that's about 60% of the degrees are being earned by women. And now median wage. So women are even out earning them, at least on the median level in the workplace. And so you have this, giant elephant in the room. And people, especially young boys, have not that many spaces to go. And what you find is that they're gravitating towards these podcasts, which Trump is going on. And Trump is kind of filling that hole, this need. And the Dems are actively have been driving men away for like the last, I don't know, few decades, I think.